Hi everybody, and welcome to the TurboGods channel. I'm Rob Young, your friendly neighborhood Rotomeister, and today we're going to talk about how would you order one of these guys. Well, first of all, it wouldn't hurt if you did a little research on the project. I would suggest that you type into Google or whatever, Rodelbau, and that's Rodelbau. And that's just the manufacturer. You'll get all sorts of names and locations popping up. That'll give you a little familiarity. There's no doubt that it's less expensive. Absolutely no doubt at all. And as of yesterday, I have a wonderful example of less expensive. I ordered some what's called a Belag China. It's a running surface different than what I have on here right now. Now I ordered it from Torgler, and they don't show it in their catalog, but I happen to notice on this example on their website, and I'm running it right here, is I saw these running surfaces that were plastic with metal edges. I had heard of them before. I know they've been around for a while. They're still in a sort of a, let's say the industry hasn't matured that much, but it's getting pretty close. And it's worth it to test them to see how they are, and when I test mine, I'll let you know about it. But here's the big deal. A guy in here in the U.S. wants to sell them to you for $385, and if you add the tax to that, it comes out to $413. Now, supposedly, the price has gone down to $335, and with tax that'd be $360. Now, for me, that's a little off the deep end, because you don't have them in your hand yet, and I like stuff delivered to me. So you still have shipping to be considered there, and there's no offer of free shipping. So I contacted Torgler just the same way you would when you want to buy, let's say, a sport rotor like this one, and within 24 hours I had an answer. These guys are pretty fast. I've been impressed. Their customer service has improved remarkably. I started ordering from them in 2011, and they've been consistently good. All right, well, anyway, so at the very best, you say, all right, $360 for a new pair of this particular running surface. Not necessarily delivered to your door. Torgler will send them to you for $296. Now that rings my bells. And also, I know they're brand new, they're untouched, they're coming straight to my door. I don't have to pay any more additional shipping. I don't have to pay any tax. So that is an important matter to me. So like I said, when they get here and I get a chance to test them, I'll let you know how it goes. I go back and forth about changing over to a plastic bottom. I wouldn't do it permanently. It's more like one of those things, if the conditions meet it, you put them on. If they don't, I'll just go back to my stainless steels, because I can take absolutely anything. They have for well over 10 years now. So, all right, so we've covered the less expensive. The other part is, and we're talking about getting a rotor. So the options out there are absolutely phenomenal, and they may be a little mind-boggling. But it helps to familiarize yourself with what is available, how much they cost, the shape of the horns on the Kufans, for instance, whether or not you have stainless steel cable for reins, a bunch of other things. But this isn't how to buy a rotor right now. This is how to select a rotor. This is about how do you order one. So The options are phenomenal. I don't like being held back to what some guy in the U.S. thinks is going to sell. He's not who I am. So, and neither is he you. So it's up to you to make selections from a wide array of choices. And I think you'll be happier with the end result if you do. And of course, if you're really struggling on it, there's no problem. You can email me and I can answer your questions. You know, that's why I'm here. You know, and nobody's paying me. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm just doing this because, well, I like Rodelling and I'm one company. I've said that over and over again, and that's really about it. Yeah, I mentioned you're guaranteed it's never been used. Well, that was for the running surface, but really on these, when it comes to you, in the box, you're guaranteed it's never been used unless the Rodelbau says it's used. And oftentimes they'll offer you one that's used, and it'll be at a significantly lower price. My Roland Rodel is a used one, and it's just super fine. I did the Beartooth Pass on it, north side, and held up just like I would expect it to, just like a new one. All right, so the other part is, the thing I like about, you'll know I plug Torgler a lot, but I've done business with him for so long. Reliability and consistency is very important to me. And eventually something's going to fall apart. Now, luckily for me, nothing has fallen apart on this guy. Like I say, it's 10 years old, over 10 years old, and it's still perking. So, spare parts, though, are important. And they advertise this, that they have plenty of spare parts. They even show you a little bit of the background with all these parts hanging around on the walls. That's an important thing to consider. Now, the other part that, with that, is the stability of the company. You want to be with one, at least I do. I want to be with a company that's been there for a while. If it's only been around since December of 2021, 22, 21, yeah, December 2021. That's a little short. And you don't know whether the guy is going to make it or he's going to be there. That's just my feeling about it. It's up to you. If something like that is okay with your thinking, go to it. And here's the other thing too, which I mentioned with the running surface, the Bellexina, is that there's no additional shipping cost to your door. I mean, when you pay shipping to the Rodelbau, that's it, all done, over, unless something strange internationally happens. Or there's always that possibility. And you're not taxed twice. You see, you've already paid a VAT tax in the country of origin for these guys. That's just, and they state it right out front. The price you see is the price you pay. It's not hidden somewhere in the invoice, and you find it, oh gosh, on your receipt. The VAT, value added tax, there's no need to understand it. That's just what they do. And you can't escape it. There's no escaping it all. But what you do escape is local sales tax, which that can be considerable. Around here in Idaho, it's 6%. Elsewhere, I've seen it at 7.25%. At some places more than that, some places less. But that's, it can be significant on a large item. Let's see. Yeah. So the thing is, you're dealing directly with the people that made this thing, who made the Rodel. And to me, that's important. I don't want to have to go through some other guy. That's just me. I'm that way on an awful lot of things. If I have the opportunity to talk to the man, I'll do it. And I know who's responsible for the construction. I know who's responsible for sending. You develop a working relationship over time. That's important to me. If it's not important to you, well, okay, that's fine. So how do you actually do it? All right. First of all, because you're dealing internationally here, I strongly recommend, if you don't have it already, get a PayPal account. It makes sending money overseas super simple. They do all the checking with the exchange rate. Like right now, when I sent the cash to Torgler this last time, it wasn't one of the better ones. It's 88 cents on the dollar. But everybody has to deal with that. Whether you buy from somebody in the U.S. who bought these overseas or not, you're still dealing with an exchange rate. So it's just one of those variables. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that PayPal calculates that automatically for you and shows it to you before you send off the cash. Now, of course, before you get to that point, you want to email the Rotobau and say, here's what I want. Or if you have questions. Now, the good Rotobaus, and I have dealt with two, Torgler and 3R. And I have emailed Lindauer, but Lindauer doesn't seem to want to be bothered with sending stuff overseas or selling online. It's in my opinion, a boutique operation. He says he wants a personal fitting. Well, for crying out loud, I'm not trying on a suit. And this isn't a racing model. It's not a Rennrodel. So fit is important to a certain extent, but not tremendously important. The most fit you're talking about here is how tall you are. That's it. Other than that, don't worry about it. And, once again, if you have questions about that, or, if you look at some of the sites, they'll say good up to a certain height, and then good up to the next height, and so on and so forth, regarding length of the rotor. Once again, it's not horrifyingly difficult to understand. So, all right, so you talk to them, and you detail exactly what you want. And I'm talking about whether you want a sport rotor, whether or not you want it painted, whether or not you want a different color of the seat, what kind of running surface is on the bottom, things like that. How long it is. There are different models and different capabilities. I always recommend a sport rotor because I'm I'm motivated by ease of handling, performance oriented. And these guys, the only step, I can say, more that handles better, if you want to look at it, handles quicker, would be an all-out Rennrodel. And you can't run those everywhere. They're made for ice, they're made for competition with our 45-degree Kufens. These are 25. You'll have all sorts of Kufen angles and so on. But that, once again, that's not the discussion here. The discussion is, what do you do? So you've made all these decisions. And so in your email, when you say how much is blah, blah, and give a total description, you also include your mailing address, because you're asking them for total price with shipping. That is important. That may help you make a decision upon whether you want to spend the money or not. So include your full mailing address, shipping address, actually not mailing necessarily, but these usually are sent via post office. And that's about the best way to do it. Unless you are just bursting forth with bucks that you can spend to get it to you some other way. It shouldn't cost you per roll any more than $145, $150 USD for shipping alone. to get it here to your door. If it's more than that, I mean considerably more, like, I would balk at a price of 200 or beyond that. Really, I haven't spent more than 150 yet. If it's more than that, ask them why, and then it's up to you to figure out whether it's worth that additional expense. For me, it would not be. I rejected an offer from, let's say, I was talking to Kathrein, and Kathrein had a nifty little sled. And I thought, yeah, I could use one of those. Well, you know what? It was going to cost twice as much to get that sled here as the value of the sled. I said, nope. So that's why you always check. But it's good to email these guys and get a feeling for what it's going to take. And excuse me. So, once you've come to an agreement with these people, whoever they are, and you make sure you nail down the price. I mean, you want the grand total. You just make sure you say, well, that is what it is. It's the grand total. Shipping, VAT, the whole thing. And is this, in fact, oftentimes I'll say, is this what I send you? And if they confirm, this is what I send you, or what you send us, then you just go over to, you send them an email and say, all right, I agree, and tell them that payment's coming. I usually say, as soon as I send this email, I'm going to go to PayPal and send them the cash, which is exactly what I did yesterday. And really, that's it. The only other thing I might add is you might request confirmation that they actually did see the cash, and ask for the tracking number when they send it. And then you have an idea what's going on and where your rodel is. Now, internationally, it's not as quick a response, let's say, local UPS or something like that. There may be some lag, and you're dealing with different post offices too. But what's valuable for me is when I look at the latest tracking information, and I see whether it's actually reached the U.S. or not. Once you see that, then everything is just hunky-dory and it's heading your way, given they don't have a crash on some icy road somewhere. Hey, it's happened. Hasn't happened to me. I've been lucky. So that's all there is, folks. It is not hard to get a hold of one of these. And I strongly encourage you to buy from the Rotobow. Better choices, less money, come straight to your door. You know for sure it's never been used. Absolutely pristine. Every dent you put in it will be your own. Well, all right, that's all I got. That's all I have. Happy rodeling, everybody.